from Fox 26 Houston. Strippers' Bill of Rights passed in Washington.
Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored, a bill that's the first of its kind in Washington state, called the Strippers' Bill of Rights. It was signed into law Monday in Washington. It adds multiple protections for those who are dancers in the entertainment industry, including...
And I did talk about this very briefly in one of my older videos, but we already have laws, right? You already have police, but everybody wants a special carve out for themselves because, especially in places like Washington or Oregon or California or New York or at the southern border, they don't want to enforce the laws that we already have. So they create new laws that they're not going to enforce, but make some people who are really stupid fairly happy.
Panic buttons for dancers in private rooms and training on reporting human trafficking. Joining us to talk about...
I just want to live in a utopia. I want to be a stripper and sell my body, but I want it to be completely safe. And it's the same theory with the safe injection sites and the clean needles. I want to be a dope fiend, and the political regime is going to enable me to be a dope fiend, but we should do it safely.
About it tonight is Kimberly Cardenas, a former stripper who does OnlyFans now. So, Kimberly, when you were dancing here in Houston, what felt like your lowest point that you said, I have to leave this industry?
And she didn't really, though. I mean, she went from regular stripping to e-stripping, and perhaps maybe worse with OnlyFans, because that's the way the world is going, unfortunately. And I actually talked to some strippers in Houston. I didn't know they were strippers at the time, but it made sense later. And they were quite literally saying, yeah, well, AI and OnlyFans is kind of, it's a drought at the strip club right now.
I got assaulted many times, and mainly working.
I got assaulted many times, so we need all new laws, new rules. Now, she's in Houston. She's not in Washington, so maybe she's not on board with that, but let's see.
Outside of Houston, towards Galveston area, they didn't have security there. They didn't have any protection at all. So I was getting assaulted more than 3 times. So.
And will you be assaulted by your clients or by other girls who may be dancing?
Both. I was threatened by a customer, and he said, I'm gonna get my gun from the car, and if you don't come back and give me some more dances, I have another 300 for you. And I told him no, because he was being too rough with me in the VIP area. So I told him I didn't want to do any dances with him. I was rejecting him. And he came towards me when I was with another client. And he was trying to force me to give him a lap dance.
And so when you have that going on...
Yeah, and so all that happened. So I guess what we should do is create a stripper's Bill of Rights instead of just enforcing the laws that we already have.
Is there anyone in that business that you can go to and say, help me?
Well, I did. I actually went to
the police. That's what you do. You call 911. They didn't have a bouncer. I'm sure that's already against the laws for any nightclub in Texas to not have. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It could be the Wild Wild West. I'm not quite sure. But it's the police. It's the security guards. That's who you go to. But nope. We got to make all new laws that nobody's going to be around to enforce because we hate the cops anyways.
To a manager close by, and I said, can you please remove this man? He actually is going to go outside and get a gun. So the manager, he was pretty young.
I'm sorry, bro. Like, I don't want to make snap judgments, or judge a book by its cover, but she doesn't seem, super credible. I'm not saying she's lying, but it's like, would it surprise you?
He didn't know what to do, really. He kind of got a flashlight and knocked him over the head. Mm-hmm. And the guy fell on the floor, and they called the cops. So. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm buying this story from this chubby stripper turned OnlyFans model who was probably drunk the entire time. Makes perfect sense. He was being very obnoxious and causing a scene, so.
And do you think when we talk about the industry here in Texas that we need a law essentially protecting dancers' rights here in the state of Texas, just like in Washington now.
Yes, I do believe that. There was times where in my head I was thinking about where can I escape if anything were to happen, if anyone, where would I go out through a window? Would I go hide in a DJ booth? Like where could I hide at? I thought about that many of times.
And what made you?
Yes, all the hypotheticals have been haunting me as I work at a seedy strip club. We need a whole new law, a whole new bill. What are you talking about, lady?
Come to those kinds of thoughts. What was the situation? Give me an example of a situation where you said, where can I go? Where can I run? Where can I hide?
Like I said, it was many situations. I was put through many situations with clients there, you know, psychologists, different types of career people would come in through the door. You wouldn't know who you were talking to, but psychologically they were messed up in their head. So
it takes one to know one, but you haven't really answered the question. He asked you for an example, if I'm not mistaken, like, you know, okay, so a psychologist would come in, a psychiatrist. What, lady? Where are you getting these people from? There was just another video of this guy talking to two random parents in Texas about the fact that kids couldn't read, and then it kind of trailed off from what needs to be done to make sure kids can read at grade level to just saying, oh, I don't let my kids use the iPad too much. And it's like, what are we even doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, Cenk? What are we doing? What are we doing? Someone tell me, what the F are we doing?
I think I was just thinking about, I think like by nature, you just think like, what in case of emergency should happen? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna get away? You know, and that's what I always had behind my head.
And
what happened, bro? You just DM'd this chick on Instagram and told her to show up. Is this a credible witness for, you know, to get people behind the idea of an entirely new law just for strippers? This is who you bring on?
before we started the interview, you talked about the violence that you faced or potential violence that you faced.
Nope. Those are two very different things. The violence that you faced or the potential violence that you faced. Totally different things. Don't pretend they're the same.
And you said not only from the clients, the customers, but also your co-workers, which would be other female dancers.
Yes, multiple dancers. It was one particular club. I'm not going to say the name, but you know, some of the girls would just gang up on me because I would run by myself, not with a pack, and they would bully me. And
okay, now she's got the high school mean girl story, and it appears to me as though she's just, you know, he's kind of leading her, right? So were you harassed or abused by dancers as well as clients? And she's like, oh yeah, like she wouldn't have said that if you didn't tee her up like that. And then, oh, you know, I was just by myself, so they ganged up on me. Give me a break, lady.
Particular night I was there, I got there really late that day because I was somewhere, and one of the girls rushed off. They were all like on the stage, and they all rushed off when they seen me to so I wouldn't get a free tip out. So they went upstairs, and then I went on the stage, and one of the girls got mad because I did a third song. She ran downstairs and she grabbed her key and she put it against my chest, and she was doing something like that. I didn't know what she meant by that.
Threatening to cut you.
She was threatening to take out one of my piercings right here. I had a dermal, and she was threatening to do that, and she actually did. She jumped on the stage, and
so you left that industry.
Yes, I was like, okay, now this.
Wait. She took out your dermal or not?
This is getting too much.
Too ugly.
This is like worse than a reality show. It's
yeah. So what we can do is, you know, I'll just strip in my bedroom and, you know, get desperate guys to give me $3.99 a month on OnlyFans, because that real strip club is just too dangerous.
It's getting ugly. And there was a few times where there was once I got jumped and in the parking lot, and I didn't feel a thing, and I got up, like, I just got up, got in my car, and just went home. And the next day, everybody's like, do you know what happened to you? And
because you were probably hammered. You were probably wasted. You probably did something terrible, and some other girls, you know, tried to beat you up.
I was like, no. They're like, you know, you're getting kicked around and everything, and I'm just glad you're okay. And that day, when I walked in the club, I made a police report.
All right.
And I
Well, we're glad you're okay.
Yes.
We're out of time, but it seems like we need this type of legislation
No, we
here in
don't.
Texas as well. Thank you for joining
you.
us.
We absolutely do not need that law. It sounds like she's everything. Like I said, there's a grain of truth in there, and then she just extrapolates it. She doesn't remember. She's been dancing at a filthy strip club for years, and she was drunk the entire time, and she got over it, switched to OnlyFans, is now advocating for a stripper's Bill of Rights because they failed to enforce the laws that they already have on the books. And when that doesn't happen, she can probably go be an airline pilot or something.